Hey, Tony Muse. I'm back. Actually, I'm still here. I'm a world champion speed skater, and I know that we don't really compete world championships indoors yet. Someday I think that we will. But we're working on our corners. We're working on finding our push. We're working on our power box. We went through all the motions before. Remember, these are progressions. These are warm-ups that we do in order to make ourselves faster. In itself, you don't want to do this when you're racing because it's not going to make you go super fast. Although, I bet if you get really good at it, you can beat a large number of people, specifically with this next drill that we're going to do. All right, so we've been working on going in a corner. And we're not working technically on where your hips or your shoulders go. Right now, we're working on your power box and where your push comes from. So in our last lesson, we learned our outer push here, your outer push here. This lesson, there's two parts to a crossover. There's the push and the cross, the push and the cross. Well, so this is a push. We're good with it. We're done with it. So now we got to work on this one. And this is the inner push. This is perhaps the hardest one for you to do when we're talking about corners, because when you do this one, you're going to want to just push with your outer, bring your foot back in, push with the outer, bring your foot back in. But this right here, this foot is the meat of your indoor skating. This is the meat of your corners, because this foot is underneath the power box almost the entire time that you're skating. This one right here, just by hanging out on it, just by doing this drill, your left eye is gonna catch fire and you're gonna be like, oh, this hurts so bad. And that's when you know that you've struck gold. So when we do this one, speed skating form, hip in, we are not gonna push this foot out at all. When we need it to come back so that we can push again, we're simply gonna send it on vacation to do 4. Everything is coming right here. This foot pushing under, this foot pushing under, because we're turning this way. When we turn this way, it's this foot pushing under, this foot pushing under. I'm gonna show you what it looks like, but don't judge if my legs start shaking, because it really does hurt. So here we are. We're in our good speed skating position. This is our leg that's on the inside. We're gonna push it under. I have to move this leg out of the way so that I can push that one under, but I'm not pushing with it. All of my push is coming. Look at that. Do you hear that sound? And this will be one of the hardest things that you work on, is finding a place where your body is what's going to propel this foot underneath, because the foot that's pushing this time is almost always inside of your power box. This right here is where the money is made. So as you can see, that left-legged push or the inner leg push on your corners is where you're gonna get the most amount of power. And I'm serious, you could sit in a pace line if you were good at pushing with this foot, and you could sit in the pack without ever picking your feet up just by pumping this foot over. So make sure you practice that one. Don't forget, it's a progression. It's not the only thing. It's one thing, but it's an important thing. So this has been the inner push, and I need to check out because I'm breathing really hard. This has been the inner push on the corners, finding your push. I'm Tony Muse, and we're not done yet. We got a really hard one coming up in our next lesson.